Your renders are shit, your environments are empty, your textures are flat, your sad attempt at 3D art is genuinely so nauseating to look at. The Blender themselves should be sued just for giving you a tool to use. Just fucking uninstall, you useless fucking sack of shit. I'm kidding. Don't actually uninstall. Just watch this video first and then oh, fuck! Now, first and foremost, which one of these two renders is more impressive to you? Most of you will probably say the one on the right because, wow, it must have taken months to model that fucking house, church, I don't know what it is. My point is, if you take that away, then these are both just renders of forests. I mean, sure, one of them has a mountain in the back and some water, but take that away, it's literally just trees and grass. In any area of design, one of the most important skills you'll ever learn is how to make something out of nothing, or for lack of better words, how to bullshit. Take this render, for example. You could say it's a surreal piece about the constant passage of time that shows that beyond humanity and the traces of ourselves that we've left behind, our lives are just us standing on rocks in the ocean, or, and hear me out on this one, you can take away fucking John Blender and the comically large pocket watch and now it's your uncle's phone wallpaper. Or for this other render, you could say it's a piece that scrutinizes how social media has distracted us from a world that's slowly turning into a desolate place by giving us a constant stream of serotonin through instant gratification. Or you can take away the shed and the guy with the fucking TV on his head and out to White Girl's Pinterest banner. Adding focuses to your scene can help it be less generic and more complex and detailed, which if you went outside every now and again, you notice is exactly what the real world is, complex and detailed. Focus objects can add contrast and color, they can add depth through size and shape, but most importantly, they add a story. They give the audience something to question. Why is there a massive pocket watch in the middle of the ocean? Why is it glowing? Why is this guy here? What the fuck could this cunt possibly be watching that requires for his head to be inside of the fucking TV? When it comes to realism, detail is non-negotiable. Add a grassy landscape to a hillarious, and yeah, sure, now you have some grass, and maybe add a few trees, and now you have what's basically a forest. At least in the brain of a toddler. What I'm trying to say is there's levels to this shit. If you want realism, think about what else will be in an area like this. Rocks, random flowers, maybe some vines hanging off the tree, some water for reflections, a couple of stumps or logs scattered around, and wow, look at that, you have more realism. A lot of the time, especially in the design space, you'll hear people say shit like, oh, don't worry, less is more. That is for minimal designers, that is for white people, in better terms, that is for pussies. The more detail, the better. In my close to 8 years of design, I've never once been told, wow, that looks so good. My only problem with it is that it's so detailed. What the fuck is that? Shut the fuck up and add more shit. Look, if I'm being honest, I really don't respect photography as an art form, but I do agree with the fact that how a camera is used can change a lot. I don't know jack shit about camera composition rules or standards or whatever. The only thing I know of is the rule of thirds, and the only reason I know the definition is because I had to look it up to put it on the screen. But I do know how to use a camera in Blender and make it look good. So the camera in Blender has two main functions. That's a focal length and a depth of field. The focal length is pretty much an FOV slider, so the lower the value, the more of the scene you'll be able to see with less detail, and the higher the value, the less you'll be able to see with more detail. So use a low focal length if you wanted to show something like a wide landscape or a master focus object, and a higher focal length if you wanted to do a close-up shot of something. Using focal length is one of those things that you just kind of have to fuck around with. There's really not a way I can teach you the right way to do it. Not because I think you're stupid. I mean, I do, but it's also just that I don't even know if there is a right way. I just kind of keep moving the camera until it doesn't make me want to kill myself. Depth of field is the word for when something is blurred by the camera. It's made up of the focus distance and the f-stop. The f-stop is how blurred the shit that's out of focus will actually end up being, so the lower the value, the more blur, and vice versa. If you're stupid enough to go with a higher value, that literally defeats the entire point of the setting. So the way I do it is I turn the f-stop all the way down to 0.1 and then I just fuck with the focus distance until the area that I want to be out of focus is blurred. If you have a main focus, you can just select it here and then it'll do the work for you, and then obviously you can go back to the f-stop and turn the blur up or down until you can look at it without throwing up. As for camera angles, positioning, rotation, whatever, like I said, I don't know shit. The only information I've ever retained was back in high school when they taught us some shit in English about how like films use high and low angles to show dominance and shit like that. I don't fucking know. Do with that what you will. I don't care enough to go into depth. Alright, so we're gonna start out with a simple scene. It's literally just grass with trees and a hillarious. Oh, but that's not fair. It already looks good. Shut the fuck up! I used to be a beginner of Blender as well, so I know that some of you are stupid enough to think that just because I know what I'm doing means that everything I make will look good. This unironically has less visual appeal than a bottle of Inner Health Plus tablets. This shit is really empty right now, and I could fix that the hard way by adding strategically placed rocks and maybe, I don't know, fucking few camper vans or some shit, but that would take effort. What I'm gonna do instead is an advanced method commonly referred to as I'm going to spam particle systems until it looks like I've put actual work into this. So let's add a rock to our scene, add a shitty random texture to it, and now we're gonna add a particle system to our landscape and plug the rock into it and just fuck around until it looks half decent. I'm gonna do that exact same process with bushes, flowers, and whatever the fuck else comes to mind. If you don't know how to use particle systems, you either have not watched this video I made talking about them, or you have and you're just mentally retarded. Now it looks remotely appeal-inducing, but it's still really fucking boring, so let's add a focus. The first thing that comes to mind is a Japanese Torii game, so I'm gonna do that. You can do whatever the fuck you want. I'm also gonna make it comically massive because why the fuck would a Torii game be so big? Like, you see what I mean? Inducing curiosity. I'm gonna add some vines to this as well just to give it that kind of dated look, and now we have what could possibly be an artifact from an abandoned civilization. saturation or some shit. I don't fucking know. Make the rest up in your head. It's already pretty good, but just because I can, I'm gonna add some of these like lantern things. I don't know what they're called, and I'm not gonna assume what they're called because I'm gonna end up sounding racist if I do. Now I'll just add a camera, fuck with the focal length a little, add some depth of field, a little bit of volume too, and that's literally it. You might need a like extra sun or some shit and an extra aerial light just to kind of, you know, make it look a little bit better. I made a whole video on lighting. If you wanna, you know, go watch that, give me some extra watch time. That'd be pretty cool. Anyways, making good renders on Blender really isn't that hard. Just bullshit it as you go. None of us know what we're doing. We're all confused. How the fuck do you think I got into this field?